When we are looking at extending a drawing, the first thing we want to do is have a look at the key features within the drawing that we are extending, so we can mimic that when we then go out to the rest of the page. Now for this one, we can see not only is there a lot of colour, but we can see that there is block colour. So that's something that we're definitely going to use. So I've taken out my colouring pencils here so that I have access to that. Another thing that we have to look at is identifying things like shape. So we can see here that we have some really strong shapes that have straight lines in them. I've got my ruler. And we also have more organic, natural shapes here. So I know that I'll probably be using both of those when I'm extending my drawing. Another key feature here that they are using is pattern. So these sort of little squares being repeated is probably a feature I will choose to use. Now for the first thing I'm going to do when extending my drawing, is I'm going to continue these little shapes. Start going bigger if I like. So bringing in the idea of scale. This. And then another feature that I'm going to identify is the use of squares. So we got a rectangle here, and then around that we got another rectangle and then another bigger rectangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend my drawing by adding another rectangle. Again, I'm going to avoid my squares so that my squares are on the top. But you could equally go through them and give that a different element to your drawing. Now, as we can see as well, this orange rectangle is in the back, then we see the white one, and then we see these two. I'm going to use that same technique when I'm layering my work so that there is depth. So I have a background and I have something like a foreground. Now, I also want to maybe use some of these asymmetrical shapes here. So I'm going to actually start from here and go out. Now, though I am demoing this to you, I'm only demoing what I am going to do. That doesn't mean that you need to mimic what I am doing or copy what I'm doing. It just means that I'm showing you how I am identifying the shapes and colours and patterns so that when you are doing it, you can use the same techniques, but then have your own drawing and your own interpretation. So you might want to do this in a completely different order. I'm now going to start adding my block colours first. I'm then going to start blending, going from yellow to orange to red.